Good morning, everyone. I'm here with Andrea, and today we want to talk about how to approach an example of a complex scenarios using serverless technologies on Azure. So we want to start from these sample scenarios, an enterprise application integration, where we have some different challenges. When we approach this type of scenarios with our customers, the challenges are the main challenge is the interoperability between heterogeneous systems, but also the data integration. So this heterogeneous system create very different data in terms of format. So we need not only to communicate between different systems and transfer, move data between different systems, but we have also to analyze this data, maybe transform this data, and enrich with other additional information. Last but not least, we also have some requirements about robustness and scalability of the system, of the integration system that we want to create. So let me show you this flow of with sample flow. You can imagine that the customer, in this case, need to put in communication CRMs like Dynamics, but also other type of CRMs, ERPs, data sources, databases that are on-prem and on cloud, some legacy systems, for example, and you want also to enrich this data sometimes with additional information and put on something like a queue to analyze this data with the other system after this transfer, and also log the status of the workflow, and at the end send some notification to a physical person or to another system in order to keep in track the status of the workflow. So to do that, on Azure we have a service called Azure Logic Apps that is completely based on a serverless architecture. This is a orchestrator of workflows, automated workflows. You can create these workflows starting from a trigger, the occurrence of an event, or based on an occurrence in terms of time. After that, you can create the entire workflow using more than 200 pre-built connectors that we have inside the catalog, inside the tool. So in this way, you can create the connection between very different type of services. There are pre-built connector for CRM, for APIs, for SaaS services. So not only from Microsoft, but also from third-party products. And in this way, at least, you can also decide to not add any line of code. And this is one point. With this service, you can also create, as I said before, some hybrid connection. So if you want to reach, if you want to communicate, to integrate data sources on cloud with data sources on-prem, you have the possibility to use a data gateway, to reach the data sources that are on your data center on-prem. And we have also a wide tool for the monitoring, so you can monitor not also the entire workflow. So if at the end the workflow is successfully or not, but also the single activities that you have configured inside the workflow. As I said before, that you don't need to add any line of code, but you have to keep in mind that in this case, the limit is just your imagination, because you have to think to this service like a puzzle. So if you want, or if the scenarios need that, you can extend with an Azure function, for example, to keep the entire architecture serverless. You can write some custom API. This could be needed if you have a custom system with which you want to integrate your solution, or also, for example, in the case that we will show after, because the connector is not available yet. For example, for the Azure Maps API that we will use after. So, before to leave the scene to Andrea, I want to remember one thing that I say a little bit at the beginning. So today we want to show you a intuitive demo, so at least really simple, just to have fun all together. But the thing that I want you to keep in mind is that this service on Azure is designed to handle very complex scenarios, very complex integration scenarios, where the need is to grant an high availability and an hyperscaling, like an hyperscaling features in order to handle a lot of requests. So, Andrea, please, okay. If you want to come and help me with the demo.
Yes. Want to show first the code or the demo?
The demo, yes. So,
connect.
Let me connect
so
my
our
phone.
Scenario is quite, sorry. Hi everyone, I'm Andrea Giunta. Our scenario is quite easy. It's the normal scenario for an Italian guy. I'm hungry and I want a pizza. So I want to have the pizza as fast as possible from the nearby pizzeria. In our scenario for the demo, we are asking to the Azure Maps a list of pizzeria to compute which one is the nearest and the fastest to deliver pizza to us. So we also keeping to compute the traffic condition to reach us. What Jessica is doing right now is sending our position to the Logic App, basically, using a connector based on Twilio for WhatsApp. Once Jessica presses the send button, this will land on the Logic Apps. Then the service will try to get our position from the address in terms of longitude and latitude. Then ask to Azure Maps to compute, to search all the pizzerias nearby as point of interest and compute the traffic between us and the pizzerias. And then we have a logic, inside the Azure function, we have a logic part where we decide which one is the best option for us. So now the demo seems not working.
This is the typical demo effect.
Okay, I don't know if it's for a reason of networking. Let's give them a few more seconds so we can retry. But as you can see from the test messages that we tried before, you also lose the connection.
Yes.
As you can see from the previous messages in that chat, we tried with a few different addresses. And what we get is from the Maps API, from the Azure Maps API, a message that we then enriched in an English version to say which pizzeria is the nearest one, the name of the pizzeria, and of course the phone number. We can also enrich with other information that we can retrieve from the map service. We can choose not to use Azure Maps, but other services that offering this kind of information if we need to. We can also use this to emulate a Waze system, for example, for traffic. So, can I show the connector?
The demo.
The code, okay.
Yeah, the portal.
Perfect. Okay, now you have a connection issue. Sorry, but okay. This is our Logic Apps. As you can see, what we are doing is receiving a post request on an endpoint that is the one exposing the Logic App to the public, to the internet. What we are doing is receiving a payload in JSON format from the Twilio connector from Sandbox. So, which component are we using for this demo? We are using the Twilio connector for sending and receiving WhatsApp messages. We are using the Logic App as a serverless infrastructure. Then we are using an Azure function to build a new Lego pieces upon the Logic App, because at this moment we have more than 200 connectors on Logic Apps, but at this moment we don't have one for Azure Maps. So we are encapsulating the logic that we need inside an Azure function, asking to Azure Maps for the information we need. And this is the part where we expand the possibilities and the capabilities of the Logic Apps, and of course the Azure function itself. So we are receiving the payload. Please feel free at any moment to interrupt me if you have questions. Then we are initializing two variables. One for the body, that is the address that you see that Jessica sent in the message as a free-form address, street name and civic number, and the phone number. Then, since the body of our Twilio connector is a little bit complex, provide us more information that we need, we are just iterating over this body to find and get this information put inside the variables that we set before. Once we did this, here, we will trigger the Azure function via an HTTP trigger. We see before in another talk this morning about the bindings for Azure function. In this case, let's take a look to the function. We have a really easy kind of binding. We have an HTTP binding based on a post request, where we receive the JSON that you see before, with the information from my address. Then here is where the magic happens, where we are creating a custom connector for Logic Apps based on Azure Maps. We are using two different services. We are using inside the Azure Maps catalog. We are using the search endpoint to get from the address I've sent to WhatsApp my coordinates in terms of longitude and latitude, to be able to search the point of interest in terms of pizzeria here in a radius of 1,000 meters nearby. Once I have this information collected, I will use another service from the Azure Maps, that is the route service, where I will ask to the matrix function to get this information, compute in terms of kind of transportation vehicle. In this case, since usually in Italy the pizza are delivered by bicycle or by motorcycle or scooter, we choose motorcycle, and consider to have the traffic in the computation. Once we have this result, I can get the information from the body about the name of the pizzeria and the phone number, of course, and send back to the Logic Apps. Of course, we have a little bit of logging inside for testing. So the Azure function send me back a JSON to my Logic Apps, and the next step of this workflow is to send an HTTP request to the Twilio connector to send me back the information about the pizzeria, using the phone number that I retrieve in the first iteration at the beginnings. And that's all how it works. We can, of course, try to see if
yes,
we are able to...
as I said before, there is an integrated tool for the monitoring.
Yes.
For the monitoring. So I can show you that we have some some network issues before, but as you can see, sorry, there are the execution of the Logic Apps that we set off before with the WhatsApp message. So here we can see that the message that I sent before is Viale Pasubio 21 Milano. That is the Microsoft House office in Milan, just because it's one of the others that we know very well.
We know the pizzeria nearby, especially to be sure that data are correct.
Exactly. And after we evaluate some condition inside the workflow, at the end we have the reply from the, not this one, but I need to go on in some other turn of the message, because there are other information in the message that we don't want to keep, like for example if there are some attachments and something like that. So I have to check for I didn't find it. Oh, okay, this one. So the body message here. Sorry for that. Okay. So we have the number. Sorry, and
we should have the body here.
Okay. So the next one.
So while Jessica look for the right one, which are the capabilities of such system? We just use an Azure function, of course, to extend the capabilities of this system, but if you need to, you can also use your on-prem service, as told before from Jessica, but you can also use the services from other public cloud vendor, or you can use your infrastructure, your public infrastructure. So, for example, you can also put it together with a service fabric cluster or a Kubernetes upon Azure. You can also, since those are simply HTTP requests, connect to your databases and your machines on-premise. But we also extend this scenario with notification, for example. We can also add a simple SignalR connector to send us a notification to our phone saying the pizza is already on the street coming for you.
Okay. So at the end, we have the right execution of the workflow, so Viale Pasubio, Milano, and after that, when I find the body inside the array that I received from Twilio with all the information about my message and so on, at the end I receive on my phone, on my WhatsApp number, this information. So the nearest pizzeria is La Fabbrica, that we know that is right, so because it's in front of Microsoft House, and the information to call to have our pizzas.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I hope this was interesting for you, especially since we are eating the lunch time.
Yes.
And if you have any question, please, you are welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.